Can I get a mic check? Mic check. We're just gonna let this tune roll out real quick. Hold on. What up, everybody? Thanks for coming in here. I appreciate it. Episode 17. We really 17 episodes in. I've spent 17 weeks game planning, coming up with everything, and so I'm happy y'all in here. Appreciate it. Yeah, episode 17. Happy we've gotten this far. Happy I got this far and ready to get things going. What up, Hunt? Thanks for coming through, baby. I appreciate you, big dog. Thanks for coming through. I noticed on Facebook there is a little delay between, what you see and what I'm actually saying. Maybe, 20 seconds or so. Trying to work on that. I'm going to keep working on that, fix it, see what that looks like. But episode 17, happy to be here. Glad to have another week. Hold on, I got to show up. I got to show you my Tony Ferguson shirt. On my UFC. Hill Street. Hill Street. Got the Kill Streak. We got the Kill Streak shirt. Tony Ferguson. Shout out Full Violence. They got actually some dope merch, especially for UFC fighters and stuff. I go check that out. But yeah, episode 17. Happy to get after it. Happy to be here. My computer's tripping out right now. Does everything sound good on that end, Hunt? Yeah, just blessed. What is that noise? Hold on. My wife's listening to my stuff right now. She's making sure I'm saying good things. Happy to be here, man. A lot has happened through this past week. As you notice, there's no Hef today. Hef just got other things going on in life, so he just decided to take a step back, which is all cool. He's going to come back on for sure, but I'm kind of taking this by the horns by myself right now. Hef's got his job and other things he wants to do, which is all good, all love. But we're going to keep this train rolling. We got some dope guests coming up. I'm going to be announcing one here in a couple of days. I mentioned her last week, but we just need to get things set in stone. But yeah, one thing I do want to just shout out and acknowledge is all of y'all coming in here and just listening to me. I appreciate that. It means a lot. This is a platform that, I'm going to try and continue to grow, and a platform I'm going to continue to, work hard at. I'm still learning a lot of things in terms of, promoting and all that kind of stuff. But I think I do got a good thing going right now. Hopefully one day I can get a better little setup. You can still see my drawers open over there, but that's me. That's Wetz. If you know anything about Wetz, nothing's perfect over here. Sometimes we do things the hard way when it could be a lot easier. Sometimes it's going to look a little ugly, but it's going to be good. But I appreciate y'all for rocking with me through the ups, and I feel like we're only going up. I don't feel like there's ever been any downs on this. We've had some good guests coming on and all that, but I do want to pay my respects to. Okay, so this kind of deep. Yeah, my wife's Christmas decorations in the background. Kind of deep. I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing this. Some tragic news coming out of Golden State. One of their assistant coaches, I think it's Dejan Milevich, and I am terrible at pronouncing things. He passed away today, and I saw a lot of people kind of talking about, like, why would somebody postpone that game? Why would they postpone the game? What does he have to do with the game? And I kind of I don't want to say I take exception to that. I just think that's a crazy way to think. You know what I mean? Some people don't realize that sports are really just sports. I've had a lot of loss in my life. I've lost loved ones, and I know what it's like to lose someone, especially unexpectedly. And I think it was just wild that people on Twitter and other places and platforms were kind of talking about that this isn't significant enough to postpone a game. But I respectfully disagree. I think that's more than enough to, postpone a game, because at the end of the day, it's bigger than sports. We're talking about human lives. Talk about individual who put, a lot of time into that organization, and probably he's from overseas, left a family overseas, or brought him over, whatever it is. But someone lost a loved one, and I just wanted to give, for whoever's watching or whoever may see this, just want to give my love, prayers, and thoughts to, him, the Warriors organization, but most importantly, his family. And I hope some people can, how do I say this in the right way? See the bigger picture. They said the same thing about the DeMar Hamlin stuff. They said the same thing about a lot of different things. No one gives a shit about your parlays. No one gives a shit about any of that. You know what I mean? If they have more than enough reason to postpone that game. You know what I mean? And for people just to see it the way they do, I kind of find it disturbing, to say the least. And that's just another bummer for the Warriors, man. I mean, the Warriors have been going through it all year in terms of just like not being able to pick out a rotation, rumors of people getting traded and all that, and just to add that on top of everything, it's just a tough one for the Warriors this year, and you just gotta kind of feel for them, even whether you like them or not. You got to feel for them because they're going through the ringer right now. And when you lose an assistant coach, man, that does a lot. That does a lot to the morale of the team. It brings in a completely different vibe. I've never lost a coach, but I've been in a scenario where we were like, yeah, coach ain't going to be here for a while. He was in the hospital. It definitely brings a different vibe to the team. But also I feel like that could be used, as motivation and power to keep pushing, but thoughts and prayers to them, man. That's absolutely tragic. And I just get pissed off looking at these keyboard warriors online talking like, they don't even have their face attached to their profile. They be talking through a random picture, just saying reckless things, just try to hurt people's feelings and put people down, and really not, yeah, they're just pussies, in my opinion. Yeah, Warriors missed out on Siakam, man. They did. I think the sketchy thing with Siakam, though, what I was reading is that he just wasn't going to commit to anything, bro. Like, in terms of long term, he wanted to test out free agency. So I don't know what that Pacers situation is going to look like, but it's kind of a win now thing, possibly. But I would find it hard to believe that you couldn't get a good pitch around Halliburton to keep him around. But who'd they even give up? Fontaine, who'd they? Warriors could have used a Siakam, though, for sure, but I think they need a bigger guy. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Warriors trade. Raptors trade. Let's see here. Pacers receive Pascal, 2024 second round pick. Raptors receive Bruce Brown, Jordan, whatever, and Kira Lewis Jr., 2024 first round pick. 2024, 2 first round picks, 3 first round picks, 2 this year and 2 in 2026. Protected. Pelicans receive cash consideration. I'm not a fan of how the power shift, dude. Exactly. Like, rightfully they have to have it, but like, when dudes just want to play, weren't necessarily. When dudes just wanted to play, weren't necessarily worried about the money or where they played. Exactly, dog. Like, it's been kind of crazy to see. And this is where I don't want to come off the wrong way at all. Players deserve to have a somewhat of a say of what's going on, but you know what I mean? Like, when people are saying, hey, I'm not going to play for you because of this, I'm not going to play for you, da-da-da-da, like, it's part of the business, right? Like, everyone deserves their rights. Everyone deserves to have a say in kind of what's going on. But, like, I find it wild, like, dudes, how much do dudes really want to play? Is that too much for me to say? Because Pascal coming out saying that I'm not gonna play for you. You're gonna get me for 30 games, 40 games, and I'm probably not gonna come back. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, Ben Simmons, all these dudes sitting out. This year, Ben Simmons, it's different, but like I believe that you're referring to the 76ers days of Ben Simmons where he was sitting out and there's really no like what's going on. Like no one really knew what was happening with Ben Simmons. It turns out he just didn't want to play. They obviously lose salary and stuff, but it makes you question like as the like what is the league now? Like dudes make filthy money. Filthy. Like some of these rookie contracts are making more than Jordan made in his career, like or these extensions or whatever it might be. Like, where's the love of the game at though? Does that take away from it? Where dudes are like, I just want to get a bag now. I'm not grinding like Kobe. I don't have that motivation like Jordan. Like you got to think back to the 80s, 90s, even 2000s. The bag wasn't that significant. It was life changing for sure, but like it's not seeing guys get hundreds of thousands of dollars. What Jalen Green on his next one? He's gonna get like $300,000. That's so much money to where like someone can say, I'm just gonna chill. I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. Like I'm just chilling. Like I got so much money, I'm just chilling. Where's the incentive to like continue to be the best basketball player you can be? Because we've seen players get that bag and just not be the same person. Because you could only assume they're not putting in that work. You know what I mean? They're not putting in the work, the hours like they used to when they were hungry. Let's see, who's a good example of that? Christian Wood. And that's no disrespect, Christian Wood, but it was like, dude got his bag, balling for the Rockets. Next thing you know, it just kind of seems like he just coasting. I got my bag. Mom's got her house. That's dope. I'm happy that is the case. But you're chilling. You're not even 30 yet. And you're chilling. There's so many other people that are like that, and the league could be more competitive. Teams could be a lot better if that was the approach. And I don't want to generalize people, but there's things like that that go on. NFL too. Baseball, you could argue. I feel like baseball is like kind of a different kind of thing in a sense. Like I don't know. Baseball money's absolutely stupid. But you're stupid to believe that like Otani after getting his bag or Trout after getting his bag or Soto or some of them might, but like it's hard to believe when Trout gets his money, he's chilling. No, he's continuing the strive for greatness. It's hard to believe that, you know, whoever else is making a bag out there, there's so many, like whatever it is in baseball, like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't pay attention as much as some other people. But that baseball money's stupid. But I do like how like Otani's is backloaded. He's gonna get most of his money probably when he's done playing. I thought that was a dope move, and I think that's cool. Like how baseball used to be. Pujols had a huge contract, but it was after his prime. He earned the contract, what he had done, and now the view has shifted to what you do for me in the future. Exactly. That's a good point. Like there used to be that thing like you earn your bag. Now we're paying dudes off of potential ceilings. I mean, we're not, but like that's where athletics is going. We're paying people on their potential ceilings more as like, go do X, Y, and Z, and I'll give you a bag. Um, it's interesting for sure, and just sports in general is it's. And I don't know if I've said this on the pod, but I've thought this before. The generation of athletics we're seeing now at the pro level, a lot of them are reaping the benefits of not only their own work, like in order to get there, of course, but they're reaping the benefits of those who came before them. Those who came before them created a pathway that have allowed these people to make the amount of stupid money they can. They made the league famous. They made the fans more into it. You just get like these new guys just get put in there, and all the hard work has been done in terms of viewership and status of the league. The NBA has nothing to prove anymore. The MLB has nothing to prove anymore. NFL has nothing to prove anymore either. You know what I mean? Millions and millions of people from across the world are still going to tune in. And the revenue that's being pulled in is off the backs of the dudes who came before these guys. And now they're getting paid off of not what they have done. A lot of dudes are getting paid off of what's your potential. You know, like what's your potential? That's what they're getting paid off of. And that's a blessing and a curse because you give a guy who's 25 first contract off his rookie year, you give him $300 million guaranteed, 260 guaranteed. How much hungry are you going to be? I think it takes a real dog to be able to get that money and stay the same beast, if you know what I'm talking about. Like some Kobe stuff. Like legit like Kobe Bryant type stuff. Like Kobe had all the money, all the endorsements, all of that stuff. But he didn't give a shit about the money. He didn't give a shit about the endorsements. He cared about winning and literally taking other players' souls on the. And I think that's what's made people fall in love with athletics. And a lot of people are having a hard time with that nowadays because that's not necessarily there anymore. Everyone wants to be buddy buddy, hug each other, sign each other's jerseys after the game. You know, rivalries don't feel the same because they're all hugging and all that kind of stuff. And I blame some of that on LeBron James. I blame a lot of that on LeBron. And it's okay to be friends with your opponent, but like to be like the competitor in me, I don't want to see my teammate laughing, slapping the other player's butt, like, oh yeah, man, ha ha, during the game. Talk behind the scenes, talk in the back after the game. You know what I mean? Like, go do that somewhere else. We don't need to see that here. Like, we're tapped into a game. That's the enemy. Like Wyman, like my buddy Matt Wyman, or Lucas Vining, or, you know, those kinds of people when we would play. Those are my boys. I grew up with them. But when we would play, like I played high school basketball, went through battles and battles and battles from middle school into high school with these guys. Grew up with these guys. But when we would go and play Carroll, I didn't give a shit about Matt or Carroll. I hated them. I'd hug Matt, give him love after the game and all that. But between the lines, it's you're the enemy. Like I wasn't necessarily the guy that's out there, just being super aggressive and whatnot. But I'm not really acknowledging them. I'm not acknowledging our friendship out there. It's business. I'm trying to win. I can't focus on our friendship, things like that. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people struggle with that nowadays because you're seeing guys just all buddy buddy out there. What Jordan say? A lot of big names from growing up earned tenfold what they did in endorsements for what they earned for contracts. Oh yeah, actually, a good watch, a good movie is that Air Jordan movie when they talk about Michael Jordan getting his Nike contract and stuff. That was pretty cool. Thought that was dope. But it was kind of about that, like the numbers that were being thrown out there and stuff. Um, but you compare those numbers to today, but back then it was absolute stupid money. Stupid money. Let's see here. Let's see LaFontaine fantasy check. What did you think about my trade I made? Made a trade. Got Clint Capella and Herb Jones for RJ Barrett to send. Oh, and Gary Trent's giving me a fucking. Let's go. What's RJ Barrett doing? Oh, RJ Barrett's hooping. So I fucked up. RJ Barrett's hooping. I think he has 24 at half. So that sucks. But anyways, um, yeah, man, athletics definitely in a weird spot. But what I do like and I find really refreshing is if you want to get from that professional prima donnas, and I'm not saying they're all prima donnas, but we know who is, who and not. You know, um, just watch college athletics. Go to a high school game. Go to your local high school game. Um, do those kinds of things. Solid trade. I would have held on to RJ because he's going to be a primary look in Toronto, especially now that Siakam's gone. Yes, I agree, but I believe Herb Jones is going to turn a corner because someone on that roster over in on the Pelicans roster, they're bound to get hurt, and that's where he plugs in. And Clint Capella is going to give me RJ numbers at least once a week. He'll give me 40. Might give me 20, but we only need one game. And I got guards. But, yeah, RJ, he could be the primary look in there, but you still got, the thought behind that is I traded RJ Barrett essentially for, Clint Capella, basically, Herb Jones, whatever. But, you still got Scotty Barnes there, and he's taking a little back seat. How long's Scotty going to take that back seat? And you got Quickly and Schroeder and all these other dudes in there. RJ's going to have his games for sure, but how long can he stay hot? Sell high, baby. Sell high. But that trade came to me, believe it or not. I don't think it was a bad trade. Obviously, RJ has 24 at half, so Les is probably feeling pretty good about that. I'm feeling good that Gary Trent has 18 at half. I'll take that. But anyways, what I was getting to is you want I couldn't stress this enough. Go to your local college, community college, Division I college, NAIA, Division II, whatever it is. Go watch some ball. Go support them. So I'll tell you what. You go to these places. Shout out Sid. Shared the stream. You go watch the ones who are truly hungry. You go to watch a college basketball game or a high school basketball game. People who are trying to get to the next level. If it's not the NBA, they're trying to go to overseas, or if it's not, prep school, they're trying to get into a college offer. Go support those young kids, man. Go support those. That is fun basketball to watch. It might not be as high level, but in terms of a competitive standpoint, it's still pretty competitive, and you can find some dogs. I'm out here in Colorado, and there's some dogs out here. But I'll tell you this. I coached, and it was a 2A, 3A hybrid school, which is a Class B, a super small Class A. I'd say it's more of a Class B vibe. And we were competitive. The varsity, I wasn't the varsity coach, but the varsity was competitive. But I watched all the other Class B-ish schools. I'm telling you, Montana Class B, even Class C teams could have competed for a championship out here, not just competed to win games. They could have competed for a championship. And I always tell people disrespect me out here, man. They disrespect me out here in Colorado. They think just because I'm from Montana, I don't know ball and I can't play ball and we're not good at ball. That's three things. They're oh, basketball in Montana. I was okay, let's go play. And I'll play with dudes oh, okay. You know what I mean? Frontier might be the best basketball you can watch every day. Yeah, exactly. Frontier Conference is at the doorstep of Montana. You have Western, UP, Carroll, Rocky, Tech, Northern. They're all over. And just high-level ball, they're sending dudes overseas. And I feel like the Frontier's getting so much more recognition now than it has been before. In terms of sending dudes certain places or getting looks. And that part of that's due to social media. These women can ball too. I'm telling you, bro, we're sending women overseas all the time. The Frontier Conference, NAIA ball, people I'll tell people, they'll be oh, did you play before? Yeah, I played NAIA. Oh, NAIA. I'll tell you this. We beat some D2 teams, and I've played against some D2 cats, and they couldn't even play on my NAIA team. I'll just say that. I'm not going to name names. But there's cats who played D2, maybe even sat on a D1 bench that would have been all right at NAI, but they wouldn't have been him. NAI hoopers can hoop, and that's the thing. I'd have teammates come into, they'd come and transfer into UP or UGF, and oh, look at all these white boys at Carroll. Look at all these white boys at Carroll. We're about to bust them out. We never lose a white boy, and next thing you know, we lose by 40. You know what I mean? We might not be jumping out the gym. We got dudes that could jump out the gym, but we know how to play ball. Like, in order to play in the Frontier Conference, you need to know what the fuck's going on. Sorry to cuss, but you need to know what's going on. Some dudes, you could tell the guys who have relied too much on their athleticism, their height, and maybe some of their skill set to get them by. But when it came down to game plans, this is the defense we're running, this is your rotation, this is how you run this play. I watched dudes who are the most talented in the world just barely sniff the court because they couldn't get those things down. Because in the Frontier, if you don't know what the hell's going on, you're not going to play. You're not going to play. And exactly, kids would rather sit on a D1 bench for the clout than play NAI. Like, oh, bro, there was dudes in LaFontaine. I'm not going to name names here on the pod. I don't want to be disrespectful. But there was some guy, I think one of them was a Class C guy. He went and played on a Class C or Class C. Sat the bench at MSU for a couple years. Played him in the Senior Classic. And not only myself, but others on my team who went and played NAIA, actually played, busted his ass. Couldn't hang. You know, and that's the thing. You'd rather go sit on a bench than actually play some ball. So, and it's cool to see, like, the kid from Tech, Caleb Bellick. He went over to MSU, tried it out, says, okay, I actually want to play. He probably could have played, but he wants to play now. I'm going to go over to Tech, and now he's killing. See what I mean? Like, you're going to get all the love and you're going to get all the recognition no matter where you're at, especially if you're from Montana. That's the best thing about being from Montana. People are going to love you for who you like. They're going to love and support you no matter what level you play at. NAIA, JUCO, SKC, the Grizz or the Cats, you're going to get your love. And arguably, you're going to get more love when you're playing at NAIA because your name's going to be in the news more. You're going to be in the papers more. When you get that player of the week, it's shared all over the place. You know what I mean? Like, that's the best part about the NAIA. Because you get the recognition and you're still killing and you still play D1 teams and you're seeing NAIA teams beat D1 teams with these better players. But the NAIA teams, they know how to play. They know how to move the ball. They know the offense they're running. All that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's the best part. What up, baby? Look at my little munchkin. She's getting big. Are you getting big? Hold on. Let me let her out real quick. Here. Yeah, but dudes would rather sit on a bench than for clout. And I mean, it's cool to play D1. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's always going to be cool to play D1. But, like, it's always going to be cool to play D1. Go get your flowers at the NAIA at the end of the day. Go get your flowers at NAIA. You're going to get your love. And so basically what I'm saying off of this is people disrespect Montana basketball. I swear to God, they think we don't know what the fuck. We don't know what's going on. Sorry, Fresh. Need to focus on the cussing. I need to stop. But people just don't. They think we're a bunch of weirdos up there. Whereas, I swear to God, LaFontaine, if you're in here, or whoever's in here, I swear to God, if you brought the Browning Indians down here and played schools of similar size and class, I swear to God, the Browning Indians would make the Elite Eight every single year, just like they do in Montana. They don't even do that every year in Montana is the thing, because Class A is a bunch of dogs. Class A arguably is better than Double A in my opinion in Montana. A and B, some of those teams can beat the shit out of some Double A teams. I swear to God. Even some C teams. I think C, just the numbers thing plays in the disadvantage. But, like, you remember the Shoto boy when I was in Double A, those Shoto boys. The Rocher, Achenbach, was it Paffhausen? No, not Paffhausen. You know what I'm talking about. Those guys, they could have beat any team in the double A. They could have won the double A state tournament my senior year, maybe even my junior year. I swear to God, the Shoto boys could have beat any team in double A that year. I swear to God. They weren't the biggest, but the thing about them, they knew how to play ball and they knew how to play together. They knew how to play with each other so well because that's all they've done growing up. When you get into I'm gonna get to that question in that statement in a second. It's like when Team USA goes and plays in the Olympics. We have the talent, but Spain, they've been playing with each other their whole life. Lithuania has been playing with each other their whole life. You guys out in Highwood been playing with each other your whole life. In a lot of ways, that is so much more powerful and useful than just a bunch of talent that don't really hang out with each other off the court, you know, because when you're in double A, it's cliquey. Not everyone on the team hangs out with each other, you know, but when you get to those lower levels, y'all kicking it all the time. You grew up with each other. You know what I mean? Like Class C, exactly. Class C, some of the best ball you can watch. And that's the whole thing that started this. If you're tired of the NBA BS, go support your local high school or college because it is amazing basketball or sports in general, like electric. Like there's so many people that have rotated in and out of like the Montana news stations and like started their career in like Great Falls or somebody doing MTN sports. And they say this is some of the best like sports they've been around. Because not only is the community bought in, like you go to the Four Seasons Arena in March or the end of February for tournament time, the whole place is packed. The whole town packs their stuff and goes and watches. Not so much in double A. Double A, you go to state, you might be playing a 12 o'clock game and no one's there. Well, you go play a 12 o'clock game and you got Browning versus Hardin in the Four Seasons, packed to the roof. And those Class A teams, I promise you, would beat the shit out of some Class AA teams. Maybe not all of them, depending on the year. AA has dogs, and I'm not trying to say AA soft, but some of these C, B, and A squads, they can compete at a high level, AA level, because they know each other so much. They know how to play with each other on the basketball court. You know, all that shit. The community's right behind them. AA, it's a lot different. Facts, we had community support like we've never seen playing the Four Seasons. Some of the Box Elder. Oh, dude, you guys in Box Elder, bro. It was you guys, Box Elder, Belt. Who else? I'm just trying to think, but those Box Elder teams back in the day with Brandon the Boy, Jared Four Colors, and there's so much. I just can't even think. It's been so long. It's like 10 years ago. Trying to think of names like dogs. And you guys could have beat a Butte my senior year. You could have beat Butte. I fully believe it. You could have beat Butte. You could have beat Flathead. You could have beat, you know, I don't know the Missoula schools my year. I know Hellgate was pretty good, but I think Shoto beat Hellgate in one of the summer tournaments. Or almost beat Hellgate. I swear to God. Like, that Shoto team, they were a problem. You guys were a problem. Box Elder was a problem. Like, unbelievable. And even football, I feel like some of the Fairfield teams growing up could have beat Great Falls High football. Like, I wish, especially with basketball, I think it'd be a little more easier to do. I wish that like there would be an all-class tournament if it's at the end of the year, beginning of the year. You could break it up sectionally or whatever in Montana, but like, why can't we watch a Highwood play Browning? You guys could beat Browning. Why can we watch Browning play Great Falls High or CMR? They could potentially beat Great Falls High or CMR. You know, some of those Bellick teams, I'd like to see them square up against like some of those belt teams too, or the belt girls and the Fairfield girls. I think those like you think about back that like that run those belt girls went on, and that run those Fairfield girls went on, bro. They would have beat a lot of AA teams. I'm telling you that. We just couldn't see it. They wouldn't. There was nothing ever in place that would allow us to do that. But like, why not? Like, who was Jill Barta a year older than me? Who was killing in the AA? Why couldn't we go watch Jill Barta versus Helena Capital, or Jill Barta versus who was the other? Who's the other team that Capital would battle against? Was it Sentinel? Why couldn't we watch Barta go against those girls? You know what I mean? Like that would have been absolutely insane. Anyway, like all I'm saying is Montanans can hoop no matter what level, and like to bring it all together, I was saying you could bring any Montana team that's at the top, they could win a Colorado State championship. I swear to God, like Montanans can hoop. Like we might not be as flashy, but we know a good brand of basketball and a good brand of athletics, and I think that small town feel goes a long way. The last thing I'm gonna say about it, when we were playing, we played a small town from the mountains of Colorado, and we're like metropolitan. We're in the Metro League. They were in like some different league in the mountains. They busted our ass. You look at them like, look at these mountain country kid. Like, what did this guy got a beard? He's 15. Busted our butts because they knew how to play with each other. Like on the basketball court, play along with one another. Okay, so but like, why couldn't we ever do that? So Maddie Perriman in the chat said, Fairfield volleyball came and demolished my JV girls this year. That's what I'm saying, Maddie. Like, I'd like to see that more in Montana. Like, that stuff happens. We need to see it. Like, small towns kill. I swear to God. They be killing. And it's just how it is. Gritty, hard-nosed, Tom Thibodeau ball. Hey, Tom Thibodeau would love Montana basketball. I'm telling you that. Montana athletics in general. You know what I mean? Because hard-nosed, blue-collar, we got to deal with the like they be close. We don't. Hey, out here in Colorado, we don't even go outside when it's like 30 degrees. We don't send the kids outside to go to recess. It's inside recess. Montanans, we're kind of like, oh, we're going skiing. It's -20. I'm going skiing today. Just different. We're just different. Blue collar, tough it out type mentality, and that's what I miss most about Montana. I would say. I'm not saying there ain't people like this out in the Denver, Colorado area, but what I'm saying is like that's Montana. That's not necessarily what I've experienced here in Denver, and I know I'm in the metropolitan area. It's not always going to be like that, but those kinds of principles, and I guess this can move us into my next thing. Those kinds of principles and what word I'm looking for? Values are what create strong, hardworking people. You know what I mean? Out here, I see too many kids getting bailed out when things get hard. Whereas that happens in Montana too, obviously. But, you know, where I come from and the way I was raised, I never got bailed out. Like my grandpa was the junior varsity coach at my high school. He coached me. He didn't bail me out when my head coach pulled me in times I felt like I wanted to keep playing. I'd be like, Grandpa, why didn't I play? Go ask him. You're not asking me. Go ask him. Put in more work. That's on you. That's not my job. That's on you. You know, when you fall, I'm here to pick you up. But you got a problem, you go solve it yourself. I'll tell you how, but I'm not doing it for you. You know what I mean? That goes a long way. And see that shine in athletics. My boy, I'm gonna say Jackson Hashley for one. Hardest work. He played on a blown knee. His knee was shot. Still played on it because he just wanted to win. He wanted to play. He wanted to compete. You know, he could have taken the easy route. He could have done whatever else. Quit. But he didn't. Kept playing. You hear Kenny G saying, because you can't play defense. Yeah. You know, I could play D. I'm not going to go lock up a point guard. I could play a little D. I'm more of like a 3 through 5. I could guard the 3 through 5, but that's what I'm saying though. Like kids nowadays, what I've experienced when I was coaching out here, they got bailed out when things got hard. We ran a little bit in practice. Oh, parent calls and complains saying their kid's running too much. Dog, if you went through some of my high school we used to do results, which is like a conditioning and strength based program to help athletes, perform better, get stronger, faster, quicker. We used to do an hour of that and then 2 hours of practice. And then in that practice, we're still going hard. There's no work ethic and they think everything's handed to them. It's frustrating. And then there's the parents. Exactly. I think parents are the hardest thing about it. And it's hard for probably like someone like you and someone like me and Jordan and people else in here. It's hard to like deal with that because I never got bailed out. I never did. The only time, and I didn't even get bailed out, I didn't want to play football anymore. It wasn't because it was hard. I wanted to golf. I wanted to do something else. My grandpa wasn't going to let me quit. The only time, he didn't even bail me out. He was just pissed. I got grounded. I just stopped showing up after school. I just went straight home. He got mad at me. That was the only time I ever I'm only saying I got bailed out. But all the other times, he's like, no, you need to go to the gym. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do this. You need to do that. That's not on me, dog. That's on you. You go figure it out. Go ask your coach, right? Yeah, and Dan Grew had us dying in there. You think I was going to go to my grandpa, or I think any of my other teammates are going to their parents and saying, oh, we're running so much. And someone's like, hey, Coach Howard, I heard they're running a lot. You need to stop. Or the athletic director is calling Coach Howard saying, hey, you need to stop doing results before practice. Hell no. He ain't doing that. We getting better in there. And that's the thing. Kids don't I don't want to say kids, but we're getting into a culture now where it's like people don't want to work hard anymore to get what they want. They want it the easy way. I want to start on my varsity team, but I'm the first one to leave the gym. I want to start on, when I was C team, I had kids who wanted to start, but guess what? They're showing up 2 minutes before practice. They don't know what we're running. They're the first ones to leave. As a coach, you notice that. You're like, okay, because that was me. There were times in my career whenever I played where I realized, shit, I am the first one to leave after practice. I have been pulling up a little later to practice, 10 minutes before instead of 30 minutes before, right? And I'm thinking college. They're like, I'm like, maybe I got to change that. His coach notices that. He's noticing I'm not putting in the extra work, whereas my starting point guard and Z and all these other guys, even before them, they're still in here grinding, getting 100, 200, 300 shots up, right? And then the moment I started showing up more early, first, second, third one in the gym, I'm one of the last ones to leave after practice. When coach broke us out of practice, he said, hey, we're done for the day. If you want to stay and shoot, you can. If you want to leave, go ahead. He's really saying stay. And once I realized I'm going to stay and get more shots up, find a partner, get up my shots, bring the gun out, get up my shots. Not only did I play better, and playing better keeps you on the court, but then the coach realizes, okay, he's bought in. But if you're first one in or the last one in, first one out, you're not going to play. And kids don't I don't see that anymore. And part of that is also I feel like athletic departments and things are so scared now of parents, like Maddie kind of mentioned in there. They're so scared of parents. These parents are trying to bail their kids out of everything. What are we doing? Sports are life lessons. My girls love Dan and have them come for Tough Tuesdays, and the girls are dread it. Hey, but that's the best thing. That's the cool thing about Great Falls. You have that connection in there. Dan has a great program. I worked with Dan and Jamie and all of them from middle school all the way until the end of my college career. And they do a really good job. And a lot of the things that those guys put you through builds team chemistry, right? And that's the thing. When I was running with my teammates, it sucked. but I was doing it with my teammates. I didn't want to be last. I busted my butt, so we made the times, and I wasn't last. You build connections, you build a lot of great things from those kinds of experiences with your teammates. But then I'm making, like, my kid got a technical foul in a game. He was cussing, got a technical foul. He comes into practice, is not listening, messing up the drills, and he's a guy I play a lot. All right, we're on the line. Because he started to do it, everyone else started to do it, right? I have us run these things where it's like a down and back. You have to do a down and back in 11 seconds. Down, back in like 22 seconds. You know, and I would pick if I'm going to do 5, 6 of them, whatever. Next thing you know, I get complained on by a parent that we're running too hard. But no one ever asked the question, why are you running? They just said, stop running them so much. And we weren't running a lot. I tell my kids all the time, we can condition after practice, but that's on you. If you go hard in my drills, you go hard and you put your best effort into what we're doing, we're not going to have to condition. Or as much. If it's beginning of the year, you're still going to do it. But middle of the year, if you're working hard, doing what you're supposed to do, we don't got to condition. Because I know you're going hard and we're already in shape. But if you're going to dink around, not listen, mess up my drills, do this, it's a team thing. We all are going to run. I got a technical and I ran with them. A couple of things I did sometimes is I'd have the people who kept talking back or getting texts, they sat at half court. They watched their teammates run for them. But people don't like that. And I get you're kind of singling out the kid, but builds character, in my opinion. You're building a little character. You're looking at your teammates that you let down, and you're not going through it with them. You got to see them let down even more. Not going to make you want to do it anymore. You're going to learn a little lesson. But we be bailing kids out of that. And I could keep going. I'm a social worker. I do believe that there are boundaries to certain things, but that doesn't mean we got to be soft. Because then what are we raising in the grand scheme of things? We're going to keep bailing our kids out. When they're grown adults, they're going to expect everything to be easy. When you are young, when we are young, if it wasn't for the hard moments in my life, moments that people couldn't even ever comprehend, if it wasn't for those moments, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I know how to work hard. I'm not saying I'm the hardest worker, but I know how to persevere and go fight through adversity. And kids need those kinds of moments. And adversity doesn't have to necessarily be like these crazy traumatic things where, you know, it's just insane. But adversity is, I am tired right now and I don't want to run. But I have to conquer this right now. That's adversity. You're tired. Your legs are hurting. You're sweating. It's hard to breathe. Fight through it. There's obviously a boundary. If you're about to pass out, you got to take it out. You're like, okay. But that's the other thing about it too. I had kids, oh, my knee hurts. Oh, are you hurt or are you injured? Or are you just trying to get out of a drill, right? But anyways, kids need to fight. But when you're a kid, you got to go through those things that teach you how to work hard and conquer and persevere. You know what I'm saying? Like, that stuff goes so far. But now we're getting soft. Like my great-grandparents would roll over in their grave if they saw some of the stuff that's happening today. We can't raise a generation of softies, and I'm not saying that's necessarily the case. There's parents out there doing their thing, but like, what's the limit? We can't bail our kids out of everything. Where's their accountability? If you're not holding them accountable at home, they're not going to listen to their teacher. I work in a school. We got kids who are so disrespectful, but there's no buy-in from home. So they just keep bringing to school and they're just disrespectful because the parents don't do nothing. You know? Or they're complaining that this is too hard, so the mommy or daddy got to call the coach or call whoever. No, let them figure it out. If something's out of the blue, yeah, you got to make a call as a parent if you feel like something's not right. But Just stop bailing these kids out, man. And that's the last thing I'm going to say about it. We need to keep teaching these lessons. We need to we're Americans, dog. Whether you like it or not, we live in America, right? We're supposed to be badass. We're supposed to be, you know, tough individuals. You know what I mean? Exactly. Your parents can't call your boss when you're 30, but that's what it's turning into. Like, what up, Unc? Thanks for coming through. Love you, big dog. My Uncle Calvin, he gets it. See, my uncle he's been there the whole way. Like, he understands what I'm kind of talking about right now. Like, these kids need to learn to work hard. And when we teach our youth how to work hard, and they're not always going to like the way it's going to happen. The more we're setting them up for success in the future. But when we bail them out, making them feel good is only going to work for so long. When mommy and daddy aren't there, they're going to have to figure it out themselves. And some people learn that at a young age. Some people learn that at an older age. And I feel like it's better to learn it when you're young so you understand what the real world's about. That's why athletics is so important, because it teaches you so many lessons. And I'm not saying like I said, adversity. And I'm going to keep talking about adversity. I'm not saying adversity is always like losing a loved one, you don't have food on your table, this, that, and the other. Adversity, like I said, is I'm not getting the playing time I want. I got cut this year from this. I got cut from the volleyball team. I got cut from the basketball team. Conquering that adversity is I'm going to get in the gym tomorrow and I'm going to work harder than any of those people in there, so next year I know they're not going to cut me. You know what I mean? But too many kids are going to take that and just settle. Why isn't anyone in their ear saying, no, you go get in that fucking gym and you go work your ass off? Go prove these guys wrong that they cut you. Or go prove these guys wrong that you didn't get to solo and choir. What can I do to help support you achieve your dream? Instead of always we got to be there for our kids. We got to show emotion and show love and pick them up when they're down, right? But we can't always let them play victim. Right? You can't always let these people be victims. We don't want a generation of soft victims, basically. You know what I mean? Like, I could have been a victim when I first got to college. I wasn't ready for college basketball. There was 50 other guys on the team. I was an afterthought. I was just a filler, basically. But I didn't play victim. I kept grinding. And it started in school, right? I saw dudes, when things weren't going their way, not only did they stop working hard at basketball, they stopped working hard in school towards their dreams. They're defeated. Sometimes you got to pick yourself up, but it also takes good people around you. Not everyone has good people around them. We're able to call people out on their BS, say, hey, dog, I get this ain't going well for you, but you need to keep pushing. You got to find people in your circle that are going to do that to you. And it's uncomfortable sometimes to call a homie out, but if it's really your brother, really your homie, you got to be able to tell him, hey, dog. And I had to do this with some of my guys in college, even high school. Hey, dog, I know this isn't what you want it to be right now, but don't give up. See it through. Let me know how I can help you. Right? That's how it needs to be done. The other way, some people say, oh, yeah, screw that person, da-da-da-da. Oh, no, they just suck. Oh, coaches ruin everything, da-da-da-da-da-da. Nah, don't tell them that, because now you're just enabling that. Go prove to the coach why the coach is wrong. Go prove to the teacher why they're wrong. Go prove to your boss why they're wrong and you need to go get your promotion. Sometimes you got to point the finger in your face and say, it's me. I'm like Taylor Swift. I'm the problem. It's me. It's me. Your boss could be a douche and not understand what's going on. Your coach could be a douche and not understand what's going on. But you can't control that. What you can control is what you do. And to bring it all together, we're not doing that with the kids, man. We're not doing that with the kids, dog. I swear. I don't know what is going on. I don't get it. But I don't know. I don't know. I know I went on a little tangent, but I appreciate everyone who's in here. I appreciate it. Got my buddy Kenneth Freelo, and Kenneth was there the whole way. He was there the whole way. Kenneth could have quit. Kenneth's still going at it. He got pro contracts. Kenneth could have quit, but he didn't. And a lot of people, I have witnessed a lot of people quit. And now in life, when you look at them in life, they're at a standstill. They're just stuck in the same spot they were the last 5 years. And they didn't have anyone around them that was close enough to them to say, hey, man, I get what you're going through is tough. I know life ain't the best right now. You got to keep going. You know what I mean? Like, you got to keep going. How can I help you? I'm not going to do it for you, but how can I help you? That's what a good friend would do. A good friend would tell their friend, hey, a good teammate would tell their teammate, hey, you need to get your shit together, dog. You're better than this. Don't fold. Come too far to fold. You know what I mean? So there's that, man. It's a tough one, but it is what it is. Like, how do we switch that? I don't know. I think about it all the time. Like, how do we switch that? Because I think back to, like, my great-grandpa, think back to my grandparents, and, like, the way they came up, I feel like they put too much work into where we, like, I mentioned this with the NBA. In America and society today, I feel like we're reaping the benefits of those who came before us, put in the hard work, built these buildings, created these opportunities. And we're just taking this shit for granted. You know? Sometimes it's okay to enjoy it. But now we're bailing our kids out of things. Like, there's a reason why we are where we are today. And why go against that? We got to be progressive in our own respects. As a nation, as society. I feel like we can be progressive, but also stick to the script a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a wild time. And I think, like, how can we? I don't know. Something's got to happen. Something's got to give. I don't know. But it's just a lot, man. And I really wanted to touch on that today because it's been weighing heavy. I think like I just think a lot. A lot of people think a lot, obviously, but like my mind just is like, and that's one thing that's always on my mind because I got to deal with it every day. If it's whether I'm coaching or when I'm in the school, like, what are we doing? And I'm 27, and I'm looking like, what are we doing? We're really gonna tell this kid it's all good? But he did all these things that are obviously not good? Or we're not going to hold a kid accountable for X, Y, and Z because that's too hard? Like, we can't. People don't like to have kids miss recess anymore. So at my school, we have kids walk laps. Like, when you were in elementary school or whatever, and you had a substitute. And the class was going crazy when you had a substitute teacher, right? Just disrespectful, terrible day. Teacher comes in the next day, all disappointed. They're sitting there like this. I got a letter from the substitute. You know it's going down. You're not getting recess that day. And respectfully and rightfully so. But today's day and age, you can't do that no more. We have kids walk laps. They said, we're going to give them the recess, but they don't get to play. They're going to walk. They're still going to move their body, but they're going to walk laps. Or they're going to do something else. They're still moving and getting they're still getting out and active. They're burning their energy. We're calling that corporal punishment or corporate punishment, whatever it is now. People are saying that's like the worst thing you can do to a child is make them walk laps because they're disrespectful to a teacher or a substitute or something. Back like 10, 15 years ago, dog, we wouldn't get recess. You might miss recess for a month if you're that bad. You know what I mean? It's just like, what are we doing? What lesson are we teaching these kids? They can get away with anything they want. Because you guys are going to find an excuse to bail them out. Like, we're not too bad. You know what I mean? Like, we're not too bad. We learned. I got smacked up. I'm not saying smack kids upside the head at school. That's not what I'm saying. But like, my grandpa smacked the shit out of me if I got mouthy. Because I deserved it. You know what I mean? I deserved it. I learned not to do whatever I did again. Learned to not talk to him that way ever again. Or adults that way ever again. You know, like those kinds of things. I'm not saying we beat our kid. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? Don't clip this and say I'm saying beat the kids. What I'm saying is like, we can't get soft, is really kind of what I'm getting at through this whole thing. We can't keep bailing these kids out and say, oh, it's okay, buddy, that you talk to your teacher that way. Nah, I watched a girl in elementary school. She said shit in class. Her dad's a cop. She said shit or the F word in class. He came from the police department in the class, brought her home. She got soap and hot sauce put in her mouth, and she came back to school. You think she ever cussed again? No. Is it that bad? No. But it's enough to teach a kid a lesson to where the kid's like, I'm not doing that again. You know? But today, parents are scared to spank their kids. Like, they might get prison time. And there's definitely a boundary for sure. There's definitely a boundary. Like, we're not beating kids and things like that. But you get what I'm saying. I hope you get what I'm saying. Because if those lessons aren't learned, when will they be learned? And I would argue that sometimes the situation would be too far gone in order for the kid or person, individual, to learn. So that's what I was getting at. Big ramble. I enjoyed that, actually. I appreciate everyone who's in here again. Make sure to give the page a like and a follow so you're up to date on things. But yes, Jose, I think society is getting very soft. Because people are scared to, like I said, we can be progressive, but we can also stick to the script a little bit, right? So I'm going to say, like, we can stick to the script, which is sometimes a little hard-nosed. You know what I mean? Not all sunshines and rainbows. We do got to acknowledge, maybe we don't talk to a kid this way. Maybe we don't, approach things this way anymore. Right? Like, I get that. And I'm not going to get into specifics. We could save that for another pod. But I think and I believe, hey, there's a reason why we're in the position we are today as a society. You can call our country trash or whatever we've done. We've done a lot of messed up things in the past. And, like, we have to acknowledge that. But we've done also a lot of good things. And I'm not just talking about like the white person in America. I'm talking about every race, every color. We've done a lot of good things to make the country that we are in today. There's a lot of things we have to work on, for sure. Work on, and first and foremost, acknowledge the harm that's been done in our past, the bad things we've done as a whole. As a whole, right? But a lot of good things came from our grandparents. They taught our great-grandparents, our great-great-grandparents. They held values and they taught lessons that will last a lifetime no matter what era you live in. This is before phones. This is before internet. This is before all that. They taught lessons that will live forever. And sometimes I wonder, are we letting those lessons and values die? Why would we let those lessons and values die? They've got us so far. Like I said, we can acknowledge the wrongdoings and we're not going to approach it this way anymore. But let's not get too far away from our script that kept us and got us to where we are. Because then at that point, I would argue we have lost our identity. Like we've lost our identity. And I picture myself as a progressive kind of person, But I also acknowledge that there's a lot of things that have worked. You might call it whatever you want to call it, but I'll disagree with you. You know what I mean? I believe everyone needs the right, all that kind of stuff, for sure. But there's a script. And I'm not saying that script's based off of hate or anything like that. I'm saying values, hard work, things like that, that is the backbone of our country. And I feel like we're getting farther and farther away from it. And to bring it all together one last time to the kids, I think we're not telling our kids that anymore. You know what I mean? They got ChatGPT. They got the internet. They got their phones. You know, they don't care about school. Like, it's weird. Wetz for Prez, man. I'm saying. But it's weird, dog. But it is what it is, and I hope we can conquer that. I don't know what it will take. That's what that question. I wonder what it will take for us to figure that out, to where, you know, you have conservatives, you got liberals, and it's really just a clash of values. When can we find that middle ground again? What's it going to take to where we feel united in the United States? We've done a lot of bad stuff, for sure, and that needs to be acknowledged in the history books, on TV. The truth needs to be acknowledged, for sure. But there's too many good people, black, white, native, Hispanic, all that came before us, that instilled values and created the society that we live in today, that those people put in so much work to be where we're at. We can't take it for granted. We need to keep that train moving to keep us the greatest. You know what I mean? We're too divided in that aspect right now, but we'll figure it out. So, think that's it, y'all. I'm at hour 8, my first one by myself. I appreciate it. We'll be back next week. I'll be posting my guest for next week. She's awesome. Hooper. I'll drop that next week. So I'll let y'all go. I appreciate y'all for the love. I appreciate the follows. Everyone in the chat talking with me. I really do appreciate that. So stay tuned. Make sure to follow the page again if you haven't. I'm trying to get Parker on. I'm not going to name any names now, but I'm trying to get Parker on for sure. Make sure to give the page a follow just to stay tuned, to stay up to date, y'all.